gonna do? Do. What's up, Hunter? Hey, dope rod, dude. Looks awesome. Sorry I haven't responded back to you, but looks great. Looks awesome. Love it. Like I said, I got you on the I got you on the 14th. Give you some money so we can start working on that custom that you're talking about, man. Kind of excited for it. Really excited. See if we can't get some more people on here before I get too in depth into this. You're talking about, man. Kind of excited for it. Really excited. Let's say. Try to watch this from my phone so I can see when you guys type and respond. Heck yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, like I said, I'm geeked on what that rod's gonna look like that we're talking about. So I appreciate you reaching out to me and so we can put the thing together. It's kind of cool. All right. Got 4 viewers on here. Who else I got on here, man? Somebody chat. Somebody talk for a few minutes here before we get into this. 8 people. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think it's kind of cool that I can like actually talk to you guys about this stuff. And you know, I usually post a lot of stuff on TikTok, and usually I'll go live with Chris from Walk Talk Fish on TikTok, and we always talk about some crazy stuff. So I could pop a few examples. What's up? 2 slow bounces and let it sit a minute. Pretty much, Zach. I mean, you're not wrong at all, man. You're not wrong at all. Pop a few examples. Difference in oranges. I've seen. Okay, that works, man. Like I said, I appreciate it so much. Ready for warmer weather, dude. Me too. I mean, this week has humbled me. I mean, I'm not even wanting to go out at all, so I am not even going to venture out. And let's see here. Gregory, how you doing, Gregory? Fishing Harry, what's up, man? All right, so I'm gonna kind of go ahead and just start into this. And like I said, walk talk. Seriously, I'm right. What's up, Jacob Meadows? Am I ready to hit some Paylakes this year? Getting bent? Yeah, dude, for real. It's about that time, guys. Like I said, it'll be here before we know it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right. So like I said, I posted a video yesterday. It was kind of cool. I enjoyed doing it. So I'm gonna post another one tonight. Just going on, going over how to troll and what trolling is and how it can be really effective at these Paylakes. So like I said, this goes for all the people who don't know what they're doing, and this also goes for the people who kind of do know what they're doing but aren't too sure about it. So more acres open. I got an itch. Man, I'll tell you what, nothing's better than crappie fishing sometimes, man. I mean, I'm telling you what. Oh, he's got some lights. Hey, okay, awesome. Sweet, dude. Hey, hook me up with some lights, man. What are you doing? Can't be showing Chris all the love. Alright, so I want to get into this. So I'll share a funny story to start off. When I first started fishing, I strictly fished on the bottom all the time. Every Paylake I went to, I would fish with a giant 10-foot nightstick with a live chub on the bottom, and I enjoyed life, okay? I actually hated people who use bobbers. I didn't understand it. I didn't know why. I just didn't like it, okay? So as the years progressed, seeing all these people fishing with bobbers, I finally decided, okay, I need to kind of get with the groove here and fish with some bobbers like everybody else was. So, my setups have changed over the years. So literally the year that I started using a bobber is when I caught a 42-pound fish. It was actually my PB until the 63. I caught that fish at Raccoon Ridge, and I mean, I was geeked. I loved it. But, as you start out, you're casting out and you're letting it sit, and that's okay. You can catch fish that way, and the fish might be hitting that way. You let it sit, and you're banging fish left and right. But those days where those fish aren't wanting to move, and they're not giving you the activity that you want, you gotta be able to try some different things. So that's where trolling comes into play, and it's really helpful. Rig up a few for a bobber and bottom. Yeah. So, you know, another thing is my buddy was trying to explain to me, which I didn't understand when I was younger, that you can fish with a bobber and still fish bottom. Okay. You just basically got to find the bottom and then you let your bobber either slightly lay sideways or it can lay flat. I mean, there's tons of guys out there that do that. That's why I make him give you a couple. I sent him 6 clips out. Oh, dude, you're the goat. I love you. You're the goat. So, basically, what is trolling? So, trolling is basically moving your bait in the water and pretty much trying to get a fish to react to it. They might be laying on the bottom. They might be laying flat on the bottom, and you bounce it right in front of them, and they grab it. You know, you might just be trolling, and all of a sudden, a fish comes out of nowhere and grabs it. I mean, it's just that predator instinct that some of these fish have, especially blues, where something moves in front of them, and they just go and smack it. I mean, you can't tell me you guys don't enjoy when you're sitting there trolling and all of a sudden your float gets smoked, or let's say you just got done trolling, Zach McCarthy style, you know, bounce it twice, let it sit, next thing your clicker's screaming, okay? Those things are all, that's one part of paylaking that I love, is that trolling it can be so much, so fun at times. So I just kind of want to give a breakdown on what exactly is happening. Now, if you go back on my channel and you watch one of my Raccoon Ridge videos where I got the live footage underwater of me catching, that big fish on the Go Fish cam, I was trolling with that pole when that happened, okay? So not a lot of people know that, but I'll go ahead and just pull it up real quick here and show you what I'm talking about. I was trolling with that when it happened, so basically I was trolling on the dam wall, and this flathead was laying flat, down there, and my bait just bounced right by him, and he just grabbed it. So just in case you haven't seen it, I will find it real quick and show you. Hopefully there's no ads. Okay, so I'm gonna go full screen here, and I'm going to find this footage. So I will kind of break it down for you guys a little bit here, and it's kind of hard because the camera's moving and stuff, but I will give you a quick breakdown. So as you can see in this video, I mean, there's my leader, as you can see, it's right there. So I'm basically dragging the bait this way, and I'll show you the moment when this fish grabs this bait. So as you can see, you'll see a crawdad here soon. So right here, so this is where I think the shovelhead has came up to the bait and has realized that it's something he wants. Okay, so that might be the moment where you just got done trolling and your bobber's sitting there bouncing, okay, and everything's okay for that moment. That's why I'm fishing. I don't stop trolling. I fish with one rod. That's why I make him give a couple. Okay, so yeah, that's awesome, Zach. And I mean, that's one method you can do it. So, like I said, this part right here, the fish is here, okay? You can't see him, but he is there right now. And right as I bumped my bobber, I went to reel, it went straight back down. So at this moment, the fish has got the bait, okay? He's got it, and he's going with it. It's his. He's hit the bait, and he's taking it. Now, as you can see, there he is right there with it in his mouth. And then you're going to see the hook set right there, okay? So, I mean, guys, this was awesome to see. I've always wanted to see it. I've always wanted to understand how it happens and what's actually making this fish do what they do. So, there's going to be days where you troll and you don't hit any fish. There will be days where you troll and bang fish left and right. But like I said, each fish is going to hit it different, but nothing's better than when you're fishing and you're trolling and then all of a sudden your float disappears because you bumped it right in front of a fish, right? So for people who can't visualize this, I kind of made this picture, and I'm going to go over it, and I am not an artist by any means whatsoever, but I just want to go over it. So I got this beautiful picture. It looks like it was drawn by a 5-year-old kid, so please do not judge me, but this is the best thing I can think of when it comes to explaining this for you guys to understand. So we have the beautiful sun up here in the top right-hand corner, and then we have our water line here, and then we have our bobber with a strike indicator, and let's say we're fishing over here to the right. So we've cast it out, and I don't know. I don't even know what type of, what lake would this represent? Okay, we'll call this extreme. Okay, so basically, now I'm like going to get all particular about it. Yeah, extreme, all in big letters. All right, so let's say this is extreme. Okay, so you're fishing and you throw all the way out. All right, so let's say you cast all the way out And these spots where these fish are laying, this is pretty much how it'll be, guys. Sometimes, as you can see, this is a hole or a trench. All right, so these fish will be laid up in here, and they'll be laid up on usually the slopes of the trenches, like where it starts to go up, or they'll be on the very bottom of the hole or the trench, or some of them will be laying there before the hole hits. All right, so that's just something to know. A lot of lakes are like this. So as you're trolling through here, okay, so my method of trolling, and I do this in the same way that I've always done it, and I think it just depends on the lake and how you do it. Well, let me address something else first. I think is important. Live bait trolling versus dead bait trolling. Okay, people don't understand why that's a big ordeal, because it's really not. All right, so most people think that trolling is making your bait lively and moving, which kind of seems pointless when you use live bait and troll with it. But I'm telling you what, sometimes just that extra bit of movement of your bait moving as it's struggling, and trying to get away can just be exactly what you need to catch a fish. All right, so don't be afraid to troll with live bait. A lot of people go against it and they don't understand it, but I will troll with dead bait. I will troll with live bait. You can't, for example, if you have a tiny warmouth about that big, he's not going to be moving around too much, okay? Now, he might be really active, but just in case he's not, just bump him a few times, okay? Make him move a little bit, cause some action, get something to attract the fish to your bait. I think that's really important, but anyway, so let's say you're at extreme and you're fishing, all right? So we have our, set up here, a bobber, and let's say the bait's not all the way on the bottom, okay? So we're suspended and we're trolling through here, okay? So as we're trolling through here, by the time we get to where these fish are here, okay? So I'm gonna draw a little arrow. By the time we get to, it disappeared on me. I don't know why it did that. Hang on, I'm messing up here. So let's see if this works. Okay, so we're trolling this way. And as you're trolling through that trench, as your bait gets to about where these fish are, they might come up and straight up, hit your bait. It's possible, okay? Now, if you have other fish that are laying, for example, right here on the very bottom, and let's say that we let's say that we just drop our bait a little bit lower, so we're about right here. Okay, so ignore that piece right there. So as we're trolling through, we're right there on the bottom. If you troll right in front of a fish, they're just going to grab it, and the force of them literally sucking in your bait is what makes that bobber motion. Okay, that's what makes it go down. All right, and that's what everybody is excited about and loves, because you're just sitting there minding your own business, and then it's like somebody broke out of a jail and has a personal problem with your bait and fucking smokes it. Excuse my language, I'm gonna try to keep it down, but that's just the best feeling ever. You look and you're like, oh, I'm gone. And I kind of want to hear everybody's reaction or what you say when your float gets smoked trolling. But guys, like I said, when these moments where you're trolling like this, it's really effective to just take your time, okay? So just like Zach said earlier, you can give it 2 bumps and let it sit, all right? Because another example might be, let's say you bump it twice, all right? Let's say you bump it twice, and this fish is behind your bait, and he sees it move, okay? So you bump it twice, he might just sit here and wait for it to move again, okay? So let's say you bump it again. As soon as you bump it, he comes and hits it, it's game over, okay? Your float's gone. Everything is going the way it should. Now, there's also another method that I see people do. And give me a second here to kind of draw it up. I don't think there's even... How are you going to make a drawing program and not put an eraser in here? I don't understand this. They got to have an eraser, right? Am I tripping? I'm tripping. Okay, well... I'll just delete it real quick here. Alright, so another method I see people do, holy crap, they will literally fish barely on the bottom, okay? And this is where snagging comes into play, because a lot of people snag fish. They're trying to drag their bait on the bottom for those flatheads that are in the mud, right there on the bottom. It's... I'm not a snagger. I'm really against snagging. I think it hurts the fish, and I don't think you should do it. But sometimes it happens accidentally, so we can't direct any comments to anybody or hate on anybody for that, but it just happens sometimes. So, people will literally set their bait up and they'll drag the bottom, okay? And like I said, those flatheads might be barely dug in the mud here, all right? And he might be facing the complete opposite way, okay? And if he is, if you put that bait right in front of them, they grab it. And I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about here. So if it's on the bottom, the fish really isn't going to have enough bobber or space to really smoke your float like you expect it. Okay, so they might walk with it. Two, they might just barely sink your bobber just enough to where you're like, man, something ain't right. Okay, so that's only if you're fishing the bottom. And I will show you a video, exactly what I'm talking about. So I hate ads so much. I think ads should not exist in this world. But I will show you. Read some comments here. I never understood the 3-foot leader thing. I'll explain why people do that, Zach, and I never understand it either. I personally hate the bottom method of trolling. A lot of them claim snag fish isn't hard. Yeah, so I mean, I agree. That's where a lot of snag fish come from. But in this video here, I just want to talk about, so as we look at this float on the left, this is at Raccoon Ridge, and I was definitely fishing the bottom, okay? So my bobber is sitting just barely on the bottom, okay? Because this is where those fish were all day. I don't know why, they were just on the bottom, and that's why I was fishing them. So this fish kind of walked, as you can see, he'll pick up my bait, and he'll kind of walk with it. And literally what happens is there's a deeper spot about midway between these two bobbers. So this fish grabbed my bait and wanted to go towards the deeper part of the lake. So that's why my bobber went under. But if I was fishing in a spot where it was the same depth all the way across, it would have literally just been walking with my bait, okay? Another note that I just want to say, dead bait does not move. It does not move, okay? So if you got some dead bait on there and it's moving side to side, that's a fish, all right? So I just want to show you real quick. So as you can see, the float kind of comes up out of the water right there. As you can see how it rose up and came down, that's the fish grabbing the bait. Okay, he's lifting up on it. He's giving my bobber some space to come up out of the water. And then it comes up, and then he takes it down and walks with it. So he's heading down towards this way. And as I know that, and I can tell because when I do the swarp, look is where he's headed. Okay, so like I said, you got to realize the difference in how your bobber is sitting and how you know if a fish has got it or not if you're going to fish the bottom method. Did you talk about how to troll this time of the year yet? Because I'm going out tomorrow and it's like 47 degrees and I don't know if I should troll or not. Good question, Dono. Like I said, I don't know you personally, but if you're going to be fishing tomorrow, okay, it's probably going to be a very good idea to troll, okay? And the reason being is because I will give an explanation on why I think that's important. Because days, if you get to the peak time tomorrow where the sun is up, out, and it's the warmest part of the day, some of those fish might move, okay? But a lot of these fish right now, as cold as it is, they're going to be stacked up on top of each other, okay? So there's going to be multiple fish probably, in one area. So I don't know what lake you intend on fishing, but lakes will find, generally those holes, and that's where the fish are going to be, okay? Now, I mean, and here's a cool thing about blue cats, all right? So blue cats can bite either in the winter, during the summer. They can eat whenever they want. A shovelhead right now is probably going to be tucked down in the mud. They're not going to be moving too much, all right? So don't expect to really catch a flathead, even though I'm not saying it's not possible. It is possible, but usually your blues are what's going to thrive right now, or your channel cats where this water is still cold, okay? But I recommend that you do troll, okay? And the way I recommend is I recommend you start at the bottom, or maybe find the bottom and go up 3 or 4 inches. Because what these fish are going to be doing, they're going to be laying down on the bottom, okay? Now, if you find a hole where multiple fish are stacked at, if you was the, let's say you catch a fish trolling through there, and you cast back out, and, you get it down, or you miss another fish, there's probably going to be multiple fish in that area. So you might want to just raise your bobber up just a little bit and troll through. So imagine, this is the hole right here that you're fishing. All these fish are stacked in here. You don't want to drag bottom all the way through here and scare these fish out of there, okay? That's the last thing you want to do. What you want to do is that you just want to actually set your depth to where basically you are just trolling right above them, kind of, okay? So real quick, I'll just show you. So I'm just going to draw the line here. So you want to be just right above them, okay? Because what happens is you're trolling that bait through there, those fish are going to come up, instinctively. If they see a piece of bait, and I'll tell you another cool thing I realized about blues. And it's crazy because it makes so much sense, but it blows my mind that they go against this rule or what people say all the time. As you can tell, I'm just going to look up a picture of a blue cat real quick. Okay, so let's see. Oh, these some awesome fish. Okay, so let's look at this one here. Maybe not. It's not very big. Hang on, let me find a good picture. A good picture of what I'm talking about here. I guess this will work. Okay, so one cool thing about blues, as you can tell, their top lip sticks out a little further than their bottom lip. Okay, now why is that important? Because blues apparently are designed to eat from the bottom up. Okay, so they literally will eat their bait from the bottom. All right, so shovelhead, they have their mouths pretty much the same, and they can eat any way they want. But blues, I guess, so think about all the people who fish the Ohio River and the Tennessee River. They fish suspended baits. They're not fishing on the bottom all the time. Now, this is where I'm saying it doesn't make sense, because you would think, okay, well, if these blues are, like, if their mouths are shaped like this and they like to eat from under up, that you're going to fish suspended all the time. But I've caught blues fishing the bottom multiple times, and it doesn't make sense. But I mean, at the same time, the way that these fish are designed, you would think that they would hit, suspended baits, some of the bigger fish. But I'm telling you, I've hit plenty of blues fishing suspended. The last week when I fished B&Js, I wasn't fishing on the bottom. I was fishing suspended about 9 foot, okay? And all of a sudden my float just got smoked. So, I mean, it just depends, and it's weird, but that's just one cool thing about a blue that somebody was telling me. But yes, it's a place in Ohio. That's cool. So like I said, don't be afraid to troll, okay? It's not the time of the year where you're just going to be able to sit it out there and, they might smoke it, which they might, okay? Depending on the lake and the temperature of the lake and stuff like that. But don't be afraid to troll, okay? That's the biggest thing. Bring your bait through different areas of the lake, because those fish are going to be chilling out somewhere in that lake. And if you can, burn a few fish here and there, that makes it so much better. So now that I've talked about trolling a little bit, I'm going to go through some of my videos here where I've caught fish trolling. And I'll show you another secret method of mine that not a lot of people do. I've not seen them do it, but I typically love to do it. So I'm going to reference our daily double video here. Let me make sure the quality's all the way up. So, fishing daily double this was last year. No, this was 2 years ago. Okay, so this lake just opened back up. Not a lot of people were going out to fish it on opening day. And, I was excited to go. You're welcome, bro. No problem at all. So, the wind, all right? So, I'm just going to back up a little bit here so I can show you guys the lake, maybe. Okay, so the wind was blowing to our left, all right? So all of our stuff was really having a hard time staying still at Daily Double this day. But the wind helped out so much because I caught so many fish this day. But it's a method that I do usually on very windy days where, trolling is just hard to do. So what I would do is, right out here in Daily Double, right out here towards the middle, it's got a little bit of a deeper hole, okay? It's a deeper trench, and I was fishing about 11 foot deep, and about 12 foot was literally the bottom, okay? My bobber would stand straight up. I knew it was the bottom. So what I did was, I brought it up about a foot. So I'm fishing 11 foot, and I would cast out to my right. And what I would do is I wouldn't sink my line all the way, okay? So this might work and it might not, depending on how many people are fishing next to you. You can't have your line crossing other people, but this worked out tremendous at this day. So basically, I didn't sink my line all the way. So basically, the wind was catching my line on the top of the water. And, under water, my bobber is literally going like this, okay? So my bobber is moving left. My bait's basically trolling itself. All right, it's moving through the water, it's going through, and why this was effective was because these fish were laying on the very bottom of the lake, and my bait was just drifting right in front of them, almost like you're fishing on a boat, okay? You're drifting, the boat's trolling, the boat's moving. That's what I was doing at Daily Double this day where I caught all these fish. So I would just let my bobber sit there and sink and just let it float by, and then all of a sudden it would find its way to be in front of a fish and it would be gone. I mean, instantly. It was a really good day. I mean, I caught so many fish this day. It wasn't even funny. So I'm going to try to zoom in here and see if I can find where my float gets smoked here. Ooh, that was a good moment right there. So hang on. I'll go through and post it. So like I said, you know, the water's moving this way, and this is my float right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I mean, it's just slowly moving through the water, and it would go in front of a fish and they would just grab it. I mean, there was nothing, you know, crazy. I did not sit down and troll that day whatsoever. That's called drifting, if I'm correct, at least when I was taught. Yeah, so it's literally drifting, and you know, and it works in Paylakes too, because like I said, sometimes these fish are just laid on the bottom, and you know, that's the best way to actually get them to bite. And like I said, this is April, so and the crazy thing is, a lot of these fish I caught this day were shovelheads. And you know, the water was just warming up to the point where these fish were kind of just laying on the bottom, kind of moving here and there, and my bait was just drifting right in front of them. And I mean, that's just the best way I can tell you to explain it. This is a great example of what I was doing. I tried this method at Extreme a few times, didn't have too much luck, and I actually tried it last week when I was there, but I mean, the fish just weren't biting very good at that lake, and I'm not sure why, but I mean, it just happens. I mean, yeah, and I mean, you can catch a lot of fish just letting your stuff drift. So as you can see, I'm sitting here in the chair, and you know, my float's out there drifting. Watch how fast this gets smoked. I mean, you don't even see it. Gone. Toasty. Gone. It was awesome, all right? So that's just another piece of technique you can try when you're at your Paylakes. Let your bait drift through there. If you don't have people to your left, respect the space, guys. Do not, you know, cast over people's stuff or anything. Don't ruin the time for anybody else, but you can try that. Let me see if I have another example here. I also want to talk about another thing real quick. Speaking back to the leader situation. So if you've watched this before, DeAndre had a big fish on, guys. I mean, I couldn't tell you how big this fish was because I never saw it, but it was big. It was big to the point where, you know, it was concerning. But so he is rushing this fish, and DeAndre, he's not been fishing too many times, not paylaking wise, but he is rushing this fish trying to get it in. And you know, I'm filming, and Matt's netting, and you know, we're getting ready for this. So DeAndre, he had a braid leader when he was, you know, fishing this day. Okay, I typically do not recommend braid leaders. I do mono, just because if you was to ever get snagged, your mono leader is going to break before your braid will. 100% of the time, guys. 100% of the time. So DeAndre had braid line with the braid leader, but the braid breaking wasn't the problem in this situation. Okay, so he did not go through and loop his braid like he should have to keep it from slipping. So what happens is when this fish gets right in here to the bank, you know, he's hoisting up on the rod here, trying to, you know, hold up and bring the fish up, and basically the knot slips, and just, I mean, right out of there. I mean, it slipped straight down. His line didn't break. You can see at the end of the line when we looked at it, it just slipped. And another thing about Daily Double is that around Daily Double, it basically has a little drop off right off the bank. So the fish is tucked under, you know, the drop off, and DeAndre's trying to lift up on it and basically pulls that knot right out of there. I mean, he just lost everything, and the fish is gone. So he went in the water with his shoes. I love it. He's so dedicated. But that's just a good tip. If you're going to use a braid leader, which I'm saying you can, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're going to, just make sure that your knots don't slip. Make sure they're cinched tight, because you never know what you're going to catch. You know, you might catch 5 or 6 little fish, but the moment you hook into a big fish, there's a lot of things that just have to go right with your setup to, you know, get that fish into the bank. Gary Smallwood, love what you're doing with the channel. I appreciate it, Gary, so much, man. Thank you. So let's go through a few more videos here if you guys have the time. I wasn't trolling. So here's some CP2 trolling. I was fishing at a Cat Fisherman's Paradise a few years ago when I first started actually, you know, filming. So it was a really hot day, okay? Super hot. I mean, I was fried. And this was one of those days where the fish were only biting on one bait. They were biting on mullets. That was the biggest thing. They didn't want anything else. But weirdly enough, they did not want any live mullets. They wanted them dead. And I don't know why lakes are like this, where you know, they just decide, hey, the fish are like, we want this bait today, or we ain't biting. So they wanted dead mullets. So I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard the method of a curled chub, but I was doing basically the same thing with a mullet. I would get the mullet, hook them through the mouth, all the way through their body, and then I would step on them, literally crunch them to where they were soft and gushy, utterly disgusting. But this was a good day too. I caught so many fish. But before I start here getting into this, so I don't really know CP2 that well. I forget what lake this was. I believe it's the first one to the right as soon as you come into their entrance. So this, like I said, I don't know anything about the bottom or anything. I think I just found bottom and just lifted up a little bit and trolled it through. So as you can see out here faintly, I'm going to move my cursor around. My bobber is out there. And I was doing a little bit of different type of trolling then. I wasn't cranking it and letting it sit. I was actually kind of reeling it real slow. So I mean just half cranks, real slow. So basically my bobber was doing a drifting method but coming back towards me. And I mean just slowly going like this across. And as you can see, I'm slowly moving it towards me, and it gets dusted. I mean, it's gone just like that. Sad thing is I didn't set the hook very well, and the fish got off about midway in. But, I'll replay it back one more time. Like I said, I'm just slowly cranking it through there, and it's dusted. It's gone. So another method you can try. Let's read some comments here. What's the difference in a short leader and a long leader? See, some guys use 6-inch leaders and some using 2-foot leaders. So, Gary, the best way to explain that, hang on. Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. So, I was going to give you an example here, Gary, on what who said that? Fishing Harry. I'm sorry. I like shorter leaders, Harry. These long leaders are usually connected to certain guys. I use long leaders for flats and if I want more action, okay? So, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So, the way that I justify a long leader and a short leader. So, this bobber is a 10-inch bobber, okay? This is a long leader, okay? And the reason why I want to say it's long is because my leader is longer than my bobber, okay? So can you see how my leader is way longer than my bobber, okay? And the reason why it's longer is because, like Dono said, you use it for flatheads and you want it for more action. But I also use a longer leader when I'm fishing for channel cats because it just seems to work out a little bit better. But a short leader would be shorter than your bobber, okay? Typically, you want it to be the same length as your bobber. Now, what happens is when you use a longer leader, you come in prone to getting tangled up every once in a while. But basically, all you have to do is when you cast, right before your bait hits the water, pull back a little bit, and your bobber will come back towards you and not get tangled up with your leader. All right, so that's what I consider a long leader right here, okay? And I think it's just preference. Like he said earlier, it's connected to certain people. It works well for certain people, but that's just what I do. Not all my setups are like that at all, but yeah, that's just how that one is. Short leader won't get you wrapped up. Yep, very true, Jacob, very true. Alright, so I'm almost done here. I've been on here for quite a while. It's cool chatting with you guys. It's awesome. Let me see if I can go through and find a few more examples of trolling. Actually, I want to share something about this Willards clip. Willards is also like another good favorite lake of mine that I've learned over the years. That's where I started out. So this day here was a really weird day. It was really hot. And like I said, on those hot days, guys, it seems like the fish just kind of pick, this is what I'm going to eat today, and I don't really care what anybody says. So this day they were eating only hand-sized bluegill. I kid you not, hand-sized bluegill. That's all they wanted. So literally, we're fishing suspended about 5 foot deep right out here. So these are my 2 bobbers. And, you know, I'm literally just, you know, enjoying my time out. This is not my current girlfriend, is my ex-girlfriend. I don't have a girlfriend right now, but she was there too. It was a good day. So I want you to watch these 2 bobbers here. Watch the one on the left first. Actually, watch the one on the right. I'm sorry. So, you know, I'm minding my own business. I got 2 large bluegills on there. You know, they're about, I don't know how far apart. You know, I'm going to try to skip through here. Okay, so this is what's crazy. So I'm going to walk by here and watch the bobber on the right. Totally gone, okay? So I'm like, oh boy, you know, I wasn't trolling or anything. I was letting it sit. It was doing its thing. Well, basically it is to give bait more room to move around. Pretty much, exactly, Harry, yes. Literally, I believe in one of your previous videos you mentioned you use weightless floats. Yeah, so the reason why you use a longer leader is because it gives more room for the bait to move around. Yes, and flatheads like that. They like a moving bait. They like it to be, you know, sporadic and trying to move around and cause some action. I've used weightless floats before, but I also use weighted floats. I don't really have a preference, I guess, besides buying sinkers. But most of the time I use weighted floats. I might have mentioned back in the old days I used weightless floats, but I do use weighted floats in today. I want to make a trip somewhere than my local lakes. Over by me, the best spots are Lake Butler, Windmill, and Lake Cozydale. Okay, so I fished. I've actually fished 2 of those. I've not fished Lake Butler yet, Cozydale and Windmill. But anyways, into this video, my float gets smoked on a giant bluegill, but as you can see, it comes back up. Now watch what happens around the bobber here. Look at all these bubbles. Look at all these bubbles that pop up. And I don't know what happened. This would have been a good day to have the Go Fish cam, but I don't know what was happening under the water. I think maybe the flathead went and grabbed my bait and then was trying to like swallow it or take off with it and it got out. Or maybe there was some commotion going on down there. But all these bubbles all of a sudden appeared right here. And I was kind of like, what in the heck? So, you know, I'm telling my buddy, like, you see that? And he's like, oh yeah, happens all the time. It does not happen all the time. I've never seen that in any other freaking lake, and you're telling me it happens all the time. So, you know, I'm kind of like skeptical on what's going on. I kind of want to reel in the pole, you know, but at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't want my other pole interfering with this pole on my right. So what I decide to do is I go to reel in the other pole. Well, this fish decides that it's done with the bait that it was messing with and that it's going to go for my other rod. As soon as I pick it up, it gets smoked. It was the best feeling ever. Look, gone. I mean, it's like, literally. So I go, grab it, hit it. I mean, it was a 25-pound shovelhead, okay? Really beautiful fish, healthy fish. You know, I also had to get a picture with it. It was a nice fish, guys. And I usually don't like to pick up fish because I don't like to drop them, but this was one of those days where it was just, everything was great. So, and I can't be certain if that was the same fish causing the bubbles that I was seeing early on, but I'm going to say it probably was. So, like I said, another great moment that I love and I always think about. Let's see here. Raccoon Ridge, guys. Everybody loves Raccoon Ridge video. I don't know why. And I think it was just more so the confidence I had that day. I got off work and was like, I'm going to Raccoon Ridge and I'm banging some fish. I don't care what anybody says. So, you know, I pulled up to Raccoon Ridge and I did a lot of trolling this day. But like I said in my previous video on, you know, my Paylake tips, you know, do your homework on the lake, figure out where the fish are. And this is just one of those days here. I had caught one lonely shad right here. Is the first thing I threw. Butler is fire, waiting for other lakes construction to be done. Yeah, I saw they were doing some construction in that lake, so I can't wait to see what the results are in that lake too, Harry. I'm kind of excited. I actually want to try it, so I'm going to get down there and try it sometime soon. So like I said, I'm using shad. You know, here, I only had one shad, okay? And I basically like to throw along this wall because a lot of the fish lay around this wall, and I don't know why. I think they sunbathe more than anything. But as you can see, I tossed it out, make sure that I'm, you know, sitting right with my bobber. I bobbed it just twice, 2 or 3 times. It was gone. just like that. It was gone. So literally everything was just perfect at that moment. The fish was laying there. I bobbed it in front of him. He grabbed it, and it was a fish on. It was that quick. I wasn't there more than 2 minutes. So I reeled that fish in. I think here comes another. Yep, so I'm trolling straight down this wall right here. You know, I'm bopping it once or twice, and then all of a sudden it just gets smoked. So gone. Easy peasy. I don't know what it is. Then hitting big lakes near poles. Do you have new merch out? Good question, Gary. Yes, so they are working. We are working on some new merch. Okay, I know if you click the merch link on my channel, it takes you to some of the older stuff we got, but we have some new stuff that's going to be out here shortly by the end of March. Yes, so I'll be making sure to make a video about that. I'm glad you reminded me. But yes, so we'll have hats, shirts, all that cool stuff. So if you guys want to rock our stuff, that'd be awesome, man. I appreciate it so much. But Butler is massive numbers. Game I caught 36 in one day. That's a lot of fish, man. And that sounds like a great day. I mean, everybody's due for one of those days. You can't tell me you're not. Like, this was one of those days. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. So, like I said, I was trolling right there, caught that fish. This is one of those moments here where, you know, like I said, I'm still fishing out there along the wall where it kind of drops off. And I left my bait out there with some live bait. And as you can see, this fish just grabs it and walks it. And then what's crazy enough is right as I go to grab my pole, it comes back up. And it kind of throws me for a loop because I'm like, dang, he let go of it. But as soon as he let go, he came right back and grabbed it again. So really good hook set there. I love this video. It's probably it's actually one of my best videos I've put out with like 11K views, which is phenomenal. And it was a beautiful fish, okay? You know, reeled them in, no problem. And also, I just want to point out, this rod here that you see me using here, this is the Kuma longitude rod that I literally just broke, you know, at Sky Lake. So everybody's dissing. I posted that on TikTok, and a lot of people are dissing me because I'm using a surf rod. But what they don't know is these rods have worked fine for me. I've had no issues, and they have. I've hit a lot of big fish on these rods, and even swarped hard enough that they should break, but they don't. Okay, so things happen sometimes, guys. Don't let it discourage you. I'm not discouraged at all. I'm going to keep using that rod. It's my favorite type of rod to use. Recent comments here. If you're ever making a trip to Butler, let us know. Live 5 minutes, planning to be there 4 or 5 times a week this year. I've had plenty of 30 fish tickets. Will do, Harry. Yeah, I like to fish with some people. A lot of my subscribers and stuff like that. New people. You know, on some of these lakes I'm not familiar with. So I would definitely be down. Cedar Lake in the morning. They got a 106 in there. 106 is huge. My dad uses Solaris like crazy, and he hasn't had a problem. Yeah, so I mean, and I don't understand, but that's what I like to use, and I never get discouraged at all. You know, based off what people say or what I'm doing. So another trolling here. I'm just got done bumping it, and I'm waiting, and then all of a sudden it just gets smoked. So guys, I mean, if you troll, and this was just one of those days where it was really hot. And the fish weren't moving too much, so I had to troll to, you know, get it done. Zambones and Hopedale. Never heard of Zambones. Hopedale. I don't even think I've even heard of Hopedale either. It's another weird lake I've never heard of. Let me see if I have any more here that I want to show you. Daily double. B&J's, Raccoon Ridge. I don't think I have any more. CP trolling, but that wasn't really trolling. It actually was literally just waiting for it to go under, and it went under. I'll show you another clip out of this video here. This is my summary video from 2021. So right here I'm fishing Willard's Lake. We're fishing in that same exact area where I caught that 25. Literally, it was really rainy that day, and I decided that I was just going to use straight night crawlers, and had night crawlers right on the bottom. And I mean, I was trolling through there, and this is where I'm talking about a moment of where you bumping the bobber can be the difference in you catching a fish or not. Hang on, let me read some. How light is that rod you're holding all day? Actually, it feels pretty good, Jay. I mean, I've not had any complaints with it. It feels good to me under my shoulder. You know, it's light, and like I said, it's a 9-foot rod, so it feels perfect for trolling. What's up, Real Life Outdoors? What's up? Glad you guys are actually on here. I'm just kind of talking about how to troll and stuff like that, and just going through some of the stuff on my channel, explaining it. So like I said, we're fishing Willards this day. This float right out here is mine, and like I said, I've been trolling and literally nothing. So what happens is I got night crawlers about probably 5 or 7 inches from the bottom, okay? And what happens is I just barely lift the pole up and give the bobber some movement, and a fish grabs it and starts walking with it. And you can see this in the video here. I just bumped it like that and watch the bobber. Starts to sink, starts to walk, okay? So the fish has got it, and I can't explain what exactly happened at that very moment, but just that little bit of movement must have got that fish's attention just to grab my bait, or he had it in his mouth the whole time and had it swallowed to his butthole. I'm not too sure about it either. Jay, if you're wanting light, go with a pin or get a custom build. Sorry, but it's a good spot. They got pie ball, okay? Cool deal. I'm glad you guys are talking about stuff, because, I mean, some of this stuff. Okay, good. I've heard Cozy Deal's really deep. Taking a buddy. Okay, like I said, my bobber goes a little bit walking here. I go to swarp, almost die, falling off the bucket. Okay, really good moment just to show you guys how fast it can happen. Let's see what else goes through this video. Also, this is another Go Fish Cam video. I'm not sure if you guys have actually seen this or not. Like I said, we're going to use the Go Fish Cam a lot this year. So I was fishing a creek. Isn't that crazy? A guy who Paylakes fishes a creek. How nice is that? Anyway, sorry, I'm a little tender from the TikTok videos, but look at this ginormous bass that swims by my bait on the bottom. I mean, I'm fishing with a piece of a bluegill body in a creek for catfishing. This ginormous bass comes swimming by, and I wish he would have picked it up, but he definitely comes and checks it out, but then he's gone. He's like, no, I can't eat my brother. Lake is big, 1420, maybe not. Okay, so let's see what else I got in this video here. Oh, I'm fishing Willards. Okay, as you can see, my float's over here to the left. I'm trolling with one pole. This is a method that Zach was talking about earlier. You can troll with one pole, let another one sit. Another thing I love doing is setting both my poles on both sides of me and just, cranking it once or twice and then going to the other pole every once in a while as I'm talking or I'm hanging out with friends. Just crank it, and then you never know, your float might get smoked. In this video, like I said, I'm trolling with one, and I have this one sitting on over here on the left side. Literally did not last long. Got smoked. Clicker was screaming. And this is on the Kuma Rockaway rod that I've not had any issues with. And like I said, guys, it holds up great. Feels light. I love it. I will freaking talk it up until I'm dead. That's where we got Matt. Tricked him into thinking. I'm creek fishing again. My buddy Landon had a pig. I don't know what it was. We'll never know. It got caught in the anchor and broke off. So, really bad day. Sorry, Landon. I caught this. Where is it at? Hang on. I caught this bass out of Pain Creek, and I caught it off a shad body. Some stuff just doesn't make sense. I don't understand. Defies all the laws of fishing that a fish can eat whatever they want at any time. So, I don't understand it. Break time. Good luck to you. You guys are being awesome. Key is covering water if you find them. Yeah, so, exactly. You got to definitely cover the water, troll different ways, stuff like that. I'm going to finish up here soon, guys, because I've been on here forever. This is at Willards. I was trolling. Same day that you just saw me miss that fish earlier. This is a nice flathead. Literally was trolling, and he walked my bobber, and I caught him easy peasy. That's a picture of him. Very nice fish and healthy fish. Can't complain. This was actually at Willards the same day, not the same day, but the day after, and they were just hitting straight night crawlers, guys, and we were trolling them through there and banging fish left and right. So that was another good day. I think that's all I have here. Yeah, I think that's all I got. Well, I'm going to end it there, guys. Like I said, just going over, some of the stuff that we talked about. Don't be afraid to troll. Troll at different depths. Find the bottom. Bring it up. Try the bottom method, okay? Like I said, fish are going to be in different spots at different times during the year. Early on, guys, like I said, I don't think it really matters if it's late or anything. Just troll. Don't chase the fish with the net. It makes them come off more. Yep, I don't know if you've done that, but could do a vid of trolling. But could you do a vid? Yeah, so that's a good idea, Dono. I don't know your actual name. I feel weird calling you Dono, but yes, that's actually a good idea. I might do an actual video showing how to troll and some of the cool methods. One thing I just want to point out is when you're trolling, make sure you have a bobber that you actually kind of favorite. Because I mean, some people like their bobber where it just sinks just enough, it's got a nice bounce to it. You just want everything to be kind of smooth. So use a bobber that you like and that sits well in the water, and that is also going to be a big advantage too. But yes, I will do a video on how to troll. I think that's important. I actually learned just from watching people and trying to figure it out. Donovan, nice to meet you, Donovan. Nice to meet you. But like I said, guys, troll at different depths, try the bottom method, and figure out those lakes, guys. Figure them out. Figure out where the structure is. Figure out where the barrels are. Figure out where the trenches are, and go in there and burn up some fish, guys. I can't wait to see how everybody does this year, and we're going to keep pushing videos out to this channel to help you guys out and just share all of the cool Paylake trips that we're going with. But yes, we will get the merch updated here soon. I promise you that. I will put out a video when that happens. Please don't be afraid to order some, rep us, and we greatly appreciate it. So I hope you guys take it easy. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend. If you guys are out fishing tomorrow, if you catch some stuff, you can add me on Facebook. My name's Tyler Jackson. Add me on Facebook. Tag me in some of the fish you catch, guys. I mean, I think that's kind of dope to see how everybody's doing at this time of the year when stuff is really hard to catch some fish as cold it is. But you never know. That pig could want some food. So good luck to you. I hope you guys are doing well, and I appreciate you guys tuning in with me today. And I wasn't ready for that outro at all. So keep